Shalom. 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 I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash. I want to give a double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who do rule well, and the salutation to the whole elect. It's the brother Diamond for the GMS Cleveland branch coming back with a quick video. So early this morning, right, because I went to sleep last night wondering what type of false flag agenda, these goddamn elites was going to try to pull off, right? Because it was just too much hype from yesterday, okay? And even though they tried to provoke a couple things happening, right, in a couple of these cities, as reports and things come in early this morning, I ran across this, I believe she was a House Speaker, all right, and her and her husband, both in the political realm, okay, they both end up dead, right, shot to death, and basically the guy who did it was disgruntled, all right, everything that what we expected, okay, and we know from this, right, comes the ramping up of security, the ramping up and the excuse of needing to handle people, right, with that draconian measure, right, to handle people with more of instead of rubber bullets, more live bullets, right? Because we have to understand that this happened on the same day, all these marches, right? And basically, they saying that it was a political motivated attack, okay? And we know that those damn near just as bad as a T-word attack, okay? And that's where they're gonna go with this thing, okay? So before we play the clip, let's get a scripture real quick. Let's start off in Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiastes 12, right? In verse 10, it says, "Never trust thy enemies, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." Okay? So no matter what this enemy, right, which we know who is referring to, starting off with Esau Edom, right? And if you want to know more about that, go check out that Psalms 83, right, where King David tell you exactly who our enemies are, right? And they made a tumult, right, to come against us, okay? But our chief enemy, all right, is some goddamn Amalekites, right, the small hatters, right, goddamn Esau Edom, right? But it says, "Never trust thy enemies, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." Okay, so no matter how it may seem to be going, all right, whether you see it out in the open or behind the scenes, best believe this devil is somewhere calculating, plotting, and scheming. Okay, whether it's for your mind, money, or your property. Okay, but they always on the tear. All right, so. Let me jump down to verse 17. It says, "If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first." Okay, and that's the point, main point I wanted to get out, because when you go into that, right, that's basically controlling the narrative, right? If adversity is there, you're going to find him first, meaning that, right, when something happens, you're going to find him in the mix thereof first, right? And with that first on the scene, what do you get? You get the first time to start a rumor, right, or spread the truth. Okay, and so we have to understand that that's very important when you're dealing with witchcraft, mind control, all these type of things, because dictating the people options, right, is basically pushing them into a category to one of the thought patterns that you also have provided for them. Okay, now I know I probably just went a little bit too deep, all right, but when you talk about mind and psychology, that's how literally how simplified it is. Okay, the people can only choose options, all right, if they're presented in that manner, and if you already know the outcome of both options, you basically mind controlling the people. Okay, but anyway, right, when you go into this word narrative, it says it says to tell, relate, recount, explain. You see, that's in the at jazz what they call it. Damn, I just had it. Salakia. Adjective. Salakia. All right. This is in the noun way. It says a tale, a story, a connected account of the particulars of an event or series of incidents. Okay. So again, controlling the narrative is mainly what this goddamn devil takes pride in. Okay, because even if it's something wrong, or even if it's something that would expose him or make him look bad on whatever level, right? He has the ability to jump in front of that. Okay, and if you know that term, right, journalists and newscaster people, they've been using that term for years, jump in front of the story. Okay, and that's what these type of situations really is here for. Okay, because best believe it was too many. Something got to go down yesterday for this to go down, and in my humble opinion, and it's not been pre-planned. Okay, so with no further ado, let's just go ahead jump into it. We're gonna grab a couple more scriptures.
Speaker Melissa and her husband Mark were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination. Our state lost a great leader, and I lost the dearest of friends. Speaker Hortman was someone who served the people of Minnesota with grace, compassion, humor, and a sense of service. She was a formidable public servant, a fixture and a giant in Minnesota. She woke up every day determined to make this state a better place. She is irreplaceable, and we've been missed by so many. Minnesota's thoughts and prayers are with her family, her loved ones, her children, and her parents. My prayers also go out to State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette, who were each shot multiple times. The Hoffmans are out of surgery at this time and receiving care, and we are cautiously optimistic they will survive this assassination attempt.
You see, and now they about to make this a big ordeal, right? Now they about to. It was another newscaster, news channel I was just watching, and it basically was saying, all right, that how this alone is about to get them to beef up security, right? To get them to beef up around these so-called protests, right? So that's what they use it for, okay? That's the order out of chaos, okay? Because they already have the order, they already have the bigger guns. They just need a legitimate reason to bring them out, all right? So the people won't think that they're madmen, okay? But not knowing that these are madmen, all right? All right, they fund the ruckus, right? Right, and even if the people don't take hold of the first bait, right? What do? All right, they go get some nigga who they hired or somebody, right? That was in the army 20 years ago, and they been fuck this man head up and got them all on the type of, what they call that, the when they really be not possessed, but when they be MK Ultra, right? And then they pull a number one day, okay? But we know what is going to come from this, okay? We know what's going to come from this ultimately, all right? Whether it was a organic incident or whether it was a pre-planned incident, nonetheless, it was an incident, right, that needed to happen yesterday, specifically, all right, and using political people as the victims, right, gives them a chance to up their beef up their security through the evidence of what's going on right here in this situation. Okay, it's the same thing in their court. All right, once you beat a court system, once you go through the battle of an uphill battle, and then somehow, some way beat a court system, they turn your case into a case of reference, right? That's in law. Okay, so the same thing here now. All right, they're going to use this one incident as a reason to over police themselves, to protect themselves, because more and more information is going to come out sooner than later. All right, concerning everything you can put in your body, right, into the moves, into your money being taken right through these schemes and businesses or whatever, right? And they're going to be your number one targets, right? But it says Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." Right, man, because again, they prescribed all these things. They the ones who made it so trivial, right, to make sure that all these different locations, all these major cities had some type of rioting or some type of protest going on this weekend, right? Because again, regular people can't fucking organize nothing that fast, right? It took what 3 days, 2 days, and it was in all them cities, right? So we know that that was a government op thing, right? But basically, they needed this to go down so they can have a reason, what man, to eventually put tanks on the streets, okay? And as they keep these false flags and controlled demolition situations going on, they're gonna have more and more reason to bring the military to your neighborhoods. They're gonna have more and more reasons, right, to come down on the people, right, draconian style, right, to really pull off the gloves dealing with people, okay. And you can't say that we didn't warn you, all right, because when you believe, when you lean on this place, when their psychological operations determine your belief system, you in a bad place, man. All right, okay, and you can't trust these people, okay. But we're gonna get ready to close it out. I just wanted to touch bases on this because basically, all right, we seeing this goddamn devil, right, working behind the scenes, but it don't have that same effect no more either. All right. All right, because best believe a lot of people knew that something like this was going to happen. All right, they kept saying it. All right, they need something to happen. Okay, this is Matthew 12:26. It says, "And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How should then his kingdom stand?" Okay, and again, we're going to keep seeing situations like this, right? Where again, I think that they got a lot of these people under this mind control, and at any given will, they're going to be used as pawns to push their agenda, right, to further their agenda. Okay, and you're going to look up one day, and these politicians are going to have bulletproof armored man standing right next to them. Okay, and that's what they're trying to get, because again, as information keep coming out, as we start getting close to the end, they don't have any more faces that they can put in front of them. All right, now we get to the point where people are understanding who the ones that's really doing this. Okay, and it's the people who are dressed the nicest. It's the people with that bow tie on, right, with that tie on, that suit on, who look somewhat perfect, right, in their eyes. Okay, and you're gonna find out that this nigga is the master of chaos. All right, he's the reason why you can't feed your family. He's the reason why everything is in your life. All right, it's madness. Okay, people like that come right in. A dude like Trump, and he didn't change the whole dynamic of the United States in less than 3 months. Right, so sooner or later the people are going to get hip to that. All right, which is going to be to no avail, because again, this is all going to go into the destruction of this place anyway, because again, Satan has to be cast out. Satan's kingdom is falling, so it's going to be more and more of these Satan versus Satan, right? Because they all Edomites, right? The so-called white man, they all devils, okay? But they all about to be used against each other, right? To eventually take this kingdom down, okay? Let me grab one more, then we're up out of here. The second address, because again, it's going to be a lot more of this, okay? And after a while, once they quit orchestrating these situations are going to start orchestrating themselves, right? They just got to orchestrate a couple of them to get it started off, and then after that, some old dumb person from over here is going to eventually turn into a trend. This is second address 15 to 16. It says, "For there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes." Okay, and that's the point. All right, because when this uprising come, all right, when that time come to where your average citizen is going to be going against the people who make the law, and that work in these different courthouses and what not have you. Okay, it says here that they should not regard their kings nor princes. All right, and the course of their actions should stand in their own power. Right, man, because again, the time is going to come to where these people are going to get found out, right, to be the ones who have led you to war, who killed your kids, right, who have stole from you, funded other countries, right, for their best interest, and they have got a bunker ready. Okay, they got a bunker ready for the war that they started, right? So the only ones that's going to be left uh, in a compromised position is you. Okay, and when the people wake up to this, all right, by that time these people are going to have armed security around them, all right, and they're going to be long gone, all right, ready to go into captivity. All right, so with that, I'm gonna leave it right there. All right, but basically, again, she dead, her husband dead. There's some more backstory to it, but it's all just a bunch of Edomite devil shit. All right. Of course, they going into him and the notes that he left, and this nigga had 500 pages of no kings on the not on typewriting paper. I mean, not on typewriting paper, but he had it on the regular print paper and back his car and all. Esau is getting sloppy. Esau getting sloppy. Okay, but he really don't have to make it look like Universal Production Studios, right? He just need enough to kill a couple people, right, and then use his Richcraft Media, right, to spin the narrative. And again, we're in that word narrative, okay, and them jumping in front of it is a sure sign that this nigga is gonna lie and turn the situation right to benefit him. I forgot which president, but one of them said that you can't let a good crisis go to waste. All right. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. I'm going to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kagadah Shalom.